Hey folks, Tyler here from Seawaywhiskywire. Well guys, we are right in the heart of winter here in the Seaway. The snow is falling, it is cold outside, and it is miserable. But I wanted to share with you guys the 5 whiskeys that I've been drinking this winter to keep my spirits up. So go watch the intro, come on back, and I'll share them with you guys. Stick around. Well hey guys, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler. And like I said, it is freezing outside. The snow is falling. We just had a big snowstorm. I just finished blowing the driveway and getting it cleaned up there. And now I've come downstairs and looking for something to pick my spirits up after this. You know, it's dark outside, it's cold, miserable, the roads are rough, but you know what? There's always some good spirits that can pick you up. So what are the 5 whiskeys that I've been enjoying this winter? I'm going to share them with you today. They're really in no particular order, and anything goes, guys. So without further ado, let me kick off this list. Let's get into number 1. All right, guys, before I get into whiskey number 1, as I often do in these videos, I did forget to mention that I do have a mystery pour in my dram, and it is part of this list. The hint I'm going to give you guys about this mystery pour is that it is a Canadian whiskey from a Canadian craft distillery with a very tongue-in-cheek name. So I'll let you guys think about that. But let's talk about whiskey number 1. And whiskey number 1 is not what's in the dram tonight, but whiskey number 1 is a Canadian whiskey. It comes from the east coast of Canada. It's got a very interesting maturation process, and it is non-chill filtered. And if you haven't already guessed what whiskey this is, it's going to be the Signal Hill Canadian whiskey. So Signal Hill was nice enough to send this over to the channel for review and for me to take a look at it. So thank you very much, Signal Hill team. Really enjoying this dram here. Of Signal Hill. So Signal Hill is a very interesting one. So it comes in from the East Coast, from St. John's, Newfoundland. It comes in with an ABV of 40%, and it is non-chill filtered. Very interesting that they state that prominently right on the bottle here on the bottom. Likely color added in there, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I probably should have looked that up, but it's definitely non-chill filtered. And like I said, produced in St. John's, Newfoundland, and it's matured in new oak casks, first fill, ex-bourbon casks, and ex-Canadian whiskey casks. And it's using a corn and barley mash. There's no rye in this. So it's a very, very smooth, very silky palate to it there. And the non-chill filtration just kind of gives this more oily, more robust mouthfeel to it. But I mean, you're getting some lovely flavors from the Signal Hill here, imparted by that corn and barley. You're getting those notes of sweet sugars, brown sugars, maple syrup, you know, the list goes on, vanillas, icing sugar, and some lovely bitter chocolate on there as well. And I even get a little bit of toasted nuts, toasted peanuts on there as well as some light coffee. It's a Canadian whiskey there. There's a Founders Reserve that did very well at the Canadian Whiskey Awards, which really, I believe, would just amp it up a little bit. But as far as an entry-level whiskey is concerned, for 40% and that non-chill filtration and the flavor profile, this is one that I've recommended to a couple of my friends already this year, and one that I've been working through, and I can't wait to dig into some cocktails with it. So the number 1 whiskey that I've been enjoying this winter is going to be the Signal Hill Canadian whiskey. All right, guys, I'm back with whiskey number 2 here. Whiskey number 2 is a classic whiskey. It's a classic Scotch whiskey hailing from the island of Islay. It is an unpeated expression, and it's one that I've reviewed on the channel and highly, highly toted many, many times. I believe this made my Christmas list as well as my top 5 Islay whiskeys list, and it's one that I have been really enjoying over the last month and a bit here. It's not really, you know, it does have that Christmas-esque piece to it there, but it's one that I enjoy all year round, but especially in winter when it can really warm you up, and that is going to be the Bunnahabhain 12-year-old from the Bunnahabhain distillery on the island of Islay. And it's an unpeated expression, like I said, comes in with an ABV stamp of 46.3%, just like all distilled products do, and it's non-chill filtered, no color added, matured in a combination of ex-bourbon and ex-sherry cask, but a real emphasis on that ex-sherry. And you know, it's got some lovely dark fruits, some dark chocolate, bitter chocolate. It's really got some orange on there too, some nice citrus of the orange there, almost like that Terry's chocolate orange piece to it there, as well as some vanilla. You get some lovely sea breeze off there from the maritime and coastal notes, some nice saltiness in there as well. And then the Christmas cake and spices. You know, around Christmas time, one of the ones I really focused on was the Glenfarclas 15, and this one here, I did have a couple of drams of it, but since Christmas has kind of been up, I've been moving back towards Bunnahabhain, and it's really those nice cinnamon and clove notes at the end there that really give you that punch and warm you up at this time of year. So it's just one that I like it all year round, but really during the winter months for a non-peated expression, it's one of those ones that really gives you that complexity, gives you those leathery notes, the fruit, the sea breeze, the salt, the Christmas cakes, and that warming spice. So my number 2 whiskey that I've been enjoying this winter, it's going to be the Bunnahabhain 12-year-old. All right, guys, I'm back with number 3, and number 3 is not what's in my dram. You're gonna have to wait a little bit longer to see what it is. But number 3 is, we had a unpeated expression from Islay. Now we got to go into a peated expression from Islay, and one that I've been really working my way through. It's a newer whiskey to me, one that I didn't really do a whole lot of, didn't really get a whole lot into at the beginning when I grabbed it, but since the winter months, I've really started to kind of gravitate towards it and really started to kind of pass it around and share it with my friends, and we've been really enjoying that here in the bar. And it comes from the island of Islay, comes from a renowned distillery, and it's going to be the Ardbeg Corryvreckan. So the Ardbeg Corryvreckan is a batch strength Ardbeg. It is at the top echelon of the core range there. I think it's the highest end. It's right up there with the Ugadel in batch strength, and it comes in with that batch strength of 57.1% ABV. Non-chill filtered, no color added, like all Ardbegs are. You get this big peaty and oily liquid in here, matured in ex-bourbon with a prominence on that ex-bourbon, and then there is some ex-French oak casks in the vatting process, in the maturation process, the vatting process, which really adds to it there. So you're going to get some beautiful smoky campfire notes with some big peat in there, and then some big flavors. You're going to get some sea spray and some brine. You're going to get that seaweed note to it there as well, and vegetal state. I get some vanillas, some fresh citrus on there too. Some lovely punch of peppery spice at the end there. This is one that I have been working on a formal review for, and without giving too much of it away, it's definitely becoming one of my more favorite Ardbegs to try here, especially in the winter months where I usually focus on the Ugadel. I've really moved more towards the Ardbeg Corryvreckan. It's got a cool story about the whirlpool and all that stuff, but we'll get into that when we do the formal review. And it's definitely one of these whiskeys that has a great long finish, lots of peat, and it's really going to leave you with that really nice warming glow after you enjoy it. So the number 3 whiskey that I've been enjoying this winter is going to be the Ardbeg Corryvreckan. All right, guys, I'm back with whiskey number 4, and whiskey number 4 is what is in my dram tonight. Like I said, it comes from a Canadian craft distillery, and it has a really tongue-in-cheek name. And I guess a better hint would have been that it's a Canadian take on an American classic. And if you haven't guessed what it is going to be the Bridgland Tabercorn Bourbon Whiskey 101 from the Bridgland Distillery in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And really, it's a Canadian take on an American classic bourbon. Here, you've got a Canadian mash bill of 60% Tabercorn, 32% malted barley, and 8% wheat, as well as being naturally presented, non-chill filtered, no color added. And the 101 stamp comes in because of the proof on it there. You've got a proof of 50.5% ABV on this. And it's matured in new American oak casks, just like bourbon would be. It also has some maturation in oak casks that are with a number 4 char on them as well. So you're getting some lovely flavors on there as well. And it's just a great spirit from the folks over at Bridgland. Just go in for the nose here for a little. Yeah, you're getting those lovely bourbon notes, some vanilla notes, some oak in there, some toasted caramel, some peanuts, some almonds, maybe a little bit of toasted walnuts as well, some maple syrup, brown sugars. Yeah, it's just a delight. Let me go and take a quick sip here. Get warmed up here. Feeling cold after blowing all that snow, guys. $50.5% ABV. Nice and smooth, silky smooth. Nice mouthfeel to it. Yep. Really get those nice vanilla, toffee, caramel notes, brown sugars, maple syrup in there as well, like I said. You get that toasted peanut, and there's a nice bit of spice in the back end too there. Maybe like a cinnamon or kind of a white pepper spice to it there. Very nice indeed there. Excellent flavors. And like I said, 60% Tabercorn, which is what Alberta's famous for producing. There is their Tabercorn, and just like this, you produced a very unique and very Canadian take on a classic bourbon, and well done. And right now, guys, I don't know about you guys, but this is the only bourbon that I'm really enjoying at this time. So my pick for number 4 of the whiskeys that I've been enjoying this winter, it is the Bridgland Tabercorn Bourbon Whiskey 101. All right, guys, let's wrap up this list with number 5. And number 5 was a gift that I actually got to unwrap at Christmas time from Mrs. and Minnie Seaway. And I was really excited to get this expression. I was really stoked to find out they found this at the LCBO for a fair price and locally here in our city. I was really surprised that it actually showed up on the shelves. But this is an expression from a renowned distillery from a very famous whiskey making region of Scotland. Comes with a nice peated note to it there, and it's non-age stated. And if you haven't guessed which one this is, it is the Longrow Peated Campbelltown Single Malt Scotch Whiskey from the Springbank Distillery. So Longrow is actually the heavily peated version of Springbank. I think it comes in, around 30-35 ppm. And non-age statement, but it comes in with all the specs that we expect from Springbank. So you've got the 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, and no color added. I believe it's matured exclusively in ex-bourbon casks. Of course, if I'm wrong, I'm sure the comment section is going to let me know about it. But it is a wonderful, wonderful warming dram there. Like I said, I think it's distilled twice, heavily peated. You get some lovely notes in there, some wonderful spice. It is a young, punchy, industrial, and fruity expression from Longrow, from Springbank, and just a wonderful, unique, and just full of things that you can only find in Springbank. Is as good as the 10-year-old. It does something different than the 10-year-old does in that punchy peat, and it's one that I'm excited to share more and more and more with you guys as I prepare for my formal review of it. So the number 5 whiskey that I've been enjoying this winter, it is the Longrow Peated Campbelltown Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. Well, guys, that about wraps it up for me. Hope you enjoyed this video. What whiskeys have you been enjoying this winter? Stick them down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Is there one that stood out? Is there one that I missed, or one that I really need to check out? Come on, put it down there in the comment section. I really, really, really want to hear about it. And if you guys like what we're doing here at Seaway Whiskey Wire, you guys know that drill. Like and subscribe down below. And hey, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Seaway Whiskey Wire for more content. And as always, if you guys are still hanging around this long in the video, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Love you guys hanging around with me down here in the basement as I share some lovely winter whiskeys with you guys, especially after doing a little bit of snow blowing and cleaning up after the mess that Mother Nature made. Always good to find some spirits to brighten up your day. So I'm gonna go in for one more sip of my Taborcorn Bourbon Whiskey 101 from Bridgland. But yeah, check them out if you haven't. It's a really good one. And with that, guys, I will bid you adieu. Cheers, all the best, take care, and I'll see you around. Bye for now, guys.